Alright, what is going on today, chat? New look. Let me just get all my 15,000 different things set up here. Alright, what's up? What is up, chat? What is up? Make sure this is all good. Let's see. Alright, there we go. Making sure that we are all set here. So welcome, guys. Welcome. This music is extremely loud in my ears. Hold on. What up, what up? What up, what up? So we got a little bit of an interesting one today. So we got a lot of cleaning. Got a lot of fun slabs to go through. Got a lot of cool cards to show off that are finally going to the online store. Got some cards to clean. We got a lot of exciting stuff to go over today. So welcome on in. So we're just going to get right into it. So I figured where I'm going to start today is I'm going to show off some cards that I am going to crack to free, so to speak. So the ones that we are releasing from the Freedom. So we got the Articuno EX. Nice little card there from Fire Red, Leaf Green. Next we have the Seadra Reverse Legendary Collection. All of these are near mint, by the way. Next we got the Cynthia. Nice way to crack there. And then we got the Charizard GX from Burning Shadows. Super excited to release that beast. And last but not least, we got the Armored Mewtwo. All as PSA 7s. So probably crack those open and figure out if we need to do some cleaning there. And then next up, we have all these that we're going to go through today. So I picked up these not too long ago. So we're going to be going through and making sure that everything is good on condition. So we got the Mew, the N, the Espeon, the Rhyperior, Darkrai. So we got a lot of really good cards that I'm basically just going to double check and make sure that they are in good condition before we throw them up on our online store. And speaking of online store, that is now active on my website, which you can find in my link tree. But here are some of the ones that I have active currently. So if anyone wants to see these further up close, one of the benefits of this stream that is very unique is that we have the microscope. So we are going to be using this a lot tonight to kind of take a little bit closer look at the card in higher resolution, higher detail, so that you know exactly what you are looking at for you graders. So we got some nice stuff that's on our site now. So if anyone wants to see these more in close, that will be up through the remainder of the stream. But for now, we are going to just go through and process some of these cards just to validate that they are all in good condition. And so we're just going to get into it. So welcome in, guys. Rebecca, Snap, welcome in. Let me just get some of my supplies ready here. So we got some microfiber cloths. We have some Q-tip action going on just in case if we need it. I would imagine most of these are not going to need really much cleaning, but you never know. We might come across something. That's why it's always good to check and make sure that everything is good to go and at the right condition that they're supposed to be in. So first up, we got the Bubble Mew. So let's take a look at this under the microscope. So again, welcome in, guys. Harry, what's up? Very nice Mew EX, kind of going up in price there. So just do a quick glance under the microscope. See if there's anything that we need to look for on the corners or anything like that. Like I said, in most cases, since this is, pretty new, my guess is that there's not going to really be much that we need to address. It's more of just kind of doing our due diligence here and making sure that everything is good. So this card, you know, it's gonna be a pretty easy near mint for sure. So it's always good to have this card in near mint condition. So that is verified as near mint. So on to the next one. We'll see really how much cleaning you really need to do for some of these. But again, you never know. So next up we got N. I'd imagine that the N and the Reshiram are probably going to start seeing a little bit of an increase in price, more for the Journey Begins, or I forgot what the new set after Prismatic Evolutions is going to be coming out here soon. But obviously one of the flagship trainers is going to be N, which a lot of people are big N fans. So we'll have to see what happens to this card, but let's take a look. And it does look like we have some bits here that we can actually probably try to address here. So the first thing that I see is, and I'll use a Q-tip here to point it out, is probably going to be this little bit right here. So if I kind of put my Q-tip over it, I do feel that it's a little bit raised. And actually, just by doing that with a dry Q-tip, I didn't even use any distilled water with it. It just came right off. So that is good. So get that off, which is good. And then that's just looks like that is the hollow. Oh, there's that piece again. I'm gonna try to see if I can't wipe that off here. Normally I rock a still water cleaning. I am. A little bit of some distilled water, but honestly with this N so far I haven't had to use any distilled water, so. But yeah. Right now just going through some cards, making sure that my inventory is cleaned up for you guys. Because one of the things that is different for this year, for 2025, is that most of what you are seeing is finally going up on my online store. So a lot of people have been asking back when I was cleaning a lot more cards, and I am slowly but surely adding those to the online store. I didn't even gift. Well, Con, with all the TikTok hubbubalub and the back and forth, maybe they just threw you a bone, right? So congratulations, you're the #1 gifter, Con. Congratulations. Just for your presence was a gift in of itself. So there you go. But yeah, Anna's looking pretty good. Look at Arts is giving #1 gift badger too. And he probably didn't give anything either. Look at me. I'm a lucky boy, I guess. Stealing the throne. Dang, it's a battle of the free gifts. So again, if you guys have never seen this microscope, this thing is super nice. I know it's really kind of washed out in the bottom here, but that's why I really like what you're kind of seeing on the top is an exact mirror of what I'm seeing. So super helpful there. So even though it's a little bit glare, like not even a little bit, you literally cannot see the back of the card. It's so washed out. But the top is really where you're kind of seeing most of it. Because from my perspective, I need to see that light so I know where I'm going, but that's where the top screen kind of comes into play. Can I do anything about the whitening on the edges? No, I really can't, to be honest. Because a lot of the things that I advocate on this channel is I only address things that are added onto a card. So like what we saw on the front of the N, with a little bit of that dirt or debris. That was, you know, just me removing it with a microfiber cloth. And just kind of going about it that way. But in terms of the whitening on the edges, there's really not much you can do because it's not really folded over right. It's actually missing from the card. So I'm not gonna like fill it in or anything like that. So, because in my opinion, that would be kind of going towards that alteration. But yeah, this N is in pretty good shape. Still within that near mint category. So pretty good. Nice full art. Especially with, like I said, the new Journey set coming out after Prismatic. So put that off to the side. Alright, next up. Double check this Espeon VMAX. The evolution's always going insane. So let's take a look. So welcome in, guys. Appreciate you hanging out with me on a Monday. Normally I'll do cleaning streams on Mondays if I have some to review and clean. So it's pretty much what you're seeing me do. This is I go through this process with pretty much every card of, you know, notable value, or if I think that it is worth getting graded, I'll always go through this process that you're seeing. So I'll use my Tom Love microscope here to kind of look at the very small details of the card, just to make sure that there's nothing I'm missing that would kind of hold this card back from its assessed condition, right? Because at the end of the day, we want these cards to be as close to near mint as possible, or better for grading purposes. And what's nice is that, you know, when I kind of say something is near mint, it goes through this entire process, every single one. So that is nice. And so one thing I'm going to check, I think that's part of the artwork, but we're just going to double check, is that arm there. I think, there we go. So again, just like that, right? Like, had I not done that, that would have stuck on there if someone was trying to get it graded, for example. So just those two brief little swabs across the face and the arm of that Espeon, I was able to get some of that, whatever that was, stuck on there, off the card. So it's definitely good practice to do that for sure. But absolutely gorgeous Espeon. Really a fan of this artwork, to be honest. And yeah, super clean on the back too. A lot of really good corners there. But yeah, let's take a look. See if there's anything else stuck to this card like the front was. That top left corner looks good. 'Cause, I mean, how many people are really doing this, you know? It's kind of fun to show you guys kind of the more up-close parts of card cleaning and kind of seeing, you know, I kind of have it listed on my kind of behind the scenes, right? This is pretty much what I do. You know, for the side business, I kind of do this with all my cards. Just addressing stuff that's added onto the card versus adding anything to the card. I don't use any card wax or anything like that. I've been pretty open and transparent with my thoughts about using card wax or adding things to a card. I think from a grading perspective, it's not, well, it's seen as alteration is what I'm trying to get at. But more importantly, you know, if I say that a card is in near mint condition, it's not like I added something to a card to make it come off as a better condition than it should be. So these cards have been, I don't know what, but when I've been seeing these in like LGSs or when people come to my booth with these cards, I've been absolutely loving to pick them up, which is the level X stuff from like Diamond, Pearl, Platinum. It's been really fun to pick some of these up. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like nostalgia or what, but super cool cards to look at. Hey, Betty, how's it going? Got a little bit of a new setup here. I got a bunch of new cameras. I got a little bit of a new setup here. So the nice thing is that I have my Tom Love, the microscope, actually acting as a webcam. So even though the frames are a little bit slower, so I think it goes down to like 34 or 30 FPS, but now you can actually see it on the full screen on the top, which is kind of cool. So it really gives a little bit better of like an assessment when you guys are like, because this is obviously like the card itself, because if I do this, it's like completely whitewashed, right? You can't really see it, but it helps me see it a little bit better, so. But yeah, just trying something new. Figured I would stream a little bit. I actually, the nice thing too is I finally updated the store as well, Betty, for some of the kind of the bigger hits from my booth, which is kind of cool. I finally updated the website as of last night, so all of these are now up there. But yeah, took a lot of work, but finally listening to the people. Yeah, it's super cool that it lets me do that for sure, Betty. Because I had to buy because my setup's totally janky, and I had to buy like a bunch of USB hubs and all sorts of stuff. And yeah, it was not good. Snow, thanks so much for the follow. I appreciate that. In these trying times of the looming TikTok, whatever is going to happen to it. I know that restaurant, and it's funny too, because like, man, everyone's doing these #1 gifters. It's so weird. Thank you for sharing the live, Martin. Appreciate you, and liking the live. Appreciate it. Yeah, that restaurant, and I wonder too if it's gonna go up at all due to the new set Journey Together coming out. Betty, thanks so much for liking the live. Appreciate you as always. So how's it been, Betty? I feel like it's been a while. Feels like every time that I'm on, you're taking a nap. Hopefully all are good. I'm super stoked. I have a, can I see the Misty's favor? You can. In addition, Weston, if you want me to put it under the microscope, I can definitely show you as well. So if there's anything you want to see on the front and the back. Additionally, high quality scans are actually on my website. So one of the big things that I decided to change up a little bit is that there's high resolution scans of this card on my website, and you don't have to put like a claim or a side bag. You can just go right to the website and purchase it. So if you want a little bit different pictures, or if you want me to put it under the microscope, definitely let me know. But I'm super stoked to have that now available for you guys. The top screen, yeah, because basically what's gonna happen, Danger, if I do this. So if I put the lights on it like this, it'll get brighter. But then you can't see the card on the bottom. But yeah, any of these, so not these cards, but any of these, if you guys want to take a look at these are the ones that are actually active on my store. So if you want to take a look at these, I can look at them on stream. Also, if you go to my link tree, which is in my bio, there's also having a 5% off. You want to take advantage of that as well. And if any cards you want to take a look at. Most of what you're going to be seeing on stream for me cleaning and processing is kind of like in queue to being added to the store. So you guys kind of get a little bit of a sneak peek for the sneak peek, which is kind of cool. So yeah, this definitely, I think the first assessment of this is pretty accurate in that light play section. But yeah, that sucks, Betty. Sucks being sick. I actually, it wasn't too long ago that I was also sick, but not trying to make it about me, but but yeah, it's not fun being sick. That's for sure. There we go. Let's do a little bit of that. Yeah, this one definitely in that LP range. We actually have some dirt that we can get rid of, chat. And if you're here too, Betty, I have I had some more near mint stuff from PSA come in. Not from my submission, but stuff I got at auction, and I'm gonna free them from their PSA shackles. I've been like obsessed with looking at PSA 7 slabs on eBay. Nikolai, thanks so much for liking the live. Appreciate you. So how are we doing tonight, chat? Having a good Monday? Has Garfield not taken the fun out of Mondays for you yet? That orange cat. Loving lasagna. Loving life. Oh, I appreciate that, Weston. Yeah, I honestly learned a lot from just watching people on TikTok lives and stuff. I really tried making it so that it was as easy for you guys to navigate as possible. Because one of the things I don't know if it's just like a personal preference of mine. I really like the idea of showing off stuff live, like that I have for sale. But one of the problems that I see when most lives go about it is that you have to do like these like weird claims, and I gotta like make a bag and like hope that you pay for it, and like it's just really clunky. So it's like if I have it on my site and you guys just like, if you like it, just buy it. It's super easy. Nothing more to it than that. Is this a cleaning stream? Nikolai, it is. I think I remember you asking when I was going to do one on Wednesday's stream, and here you are. On a Monday, cleaning stream. So welcome back, man. Yeah, the no gambling sign, like, in, like, near, and everything is just sticky notes everywhere, which doesn't really make much sense to me. And I don't know. I'm really big. I do remember you, Nikolai. Yeah, I just use distilled water, Weston. I just use distilled water, and very little of it, to be honest. Very, very little. And really all I'm doing with just the distilled water is honestly just kind of going across and making sure that like any little bits of dirt or grime are just kind of pulled off from the card. That's really all I'm doing, to be honest. But yes, Nikolai, I do remember you. But yeah, the sticky notes, it's like, man, what are you guys doing, man? I don't know. I get it, right? Like people have like different ways of doing it, and budget is obviously like another way, but I don't know. I really like to kind of earn business by giving you guys a professional and easy experience. Drew, thanks for liking the live. Appreciate you. We got a little bit of some gunk there on that P. See if we can get rid of it. Yo, what's going on, guys? What's this? This is me cleaning some cards, in addition to showing you guys what is finally on my site for sale. So, definitely trying to up the game in terms of claims. So, no, there's no grab bags, there's no, like, DMing me on TikTok or Instagram. It's a lot of lessons learned from just watching the community, how they do it, and trying to do it a little bit different. Awesome, Drew. I appreciate that. But yeah, what's going on over on YouTube? I got you guys over on currently reading TikTok chat. So if I slow on the YouTube reactions, that's how you do it. Yeah, so I do it as a side business, Richard. Do I have Zelle or Cash App option? At this time, how I have it set up, I don't. But I do have 5% off coupon to kind of cover some of the shipping costs if you're here during stream. Additionally, you have some payment protection in addition to some kind of simplified payment options through my site. So it's super, super easy, super streamlined. But yeah, with Cash App and all that, since I actually am registered as a business, a lot of services like Zelle I can't do, just due to the nature of how my business is set up, because I don't operate as a personal seller. I operate under like an actual business name. So Zelle is unfortunately not available to me, but I can process credit cards and debit cards, which is unique as well. Man, this is a very dirty card. But you saw that we removed a lot of that gunk off that P, which is kind of nice. Some of this, it's kind of stained, which is really not much we can do. But yeah. Let's see if there's anything else here. All I'm using is just some distilled water. Mystery. How many cards have I done already? Sorry, Nikolai, I missed that. I've done 4 so far. The other 4 haven't really needed it because most of them were in near mint condition anyway. So what I like to do is, like, when I pick up cards, I have a section in my like where I keep my inventory as unprocessed. And so I kind of will do like a quick assessment of what I think it is before I put it under the microscope. And then I try to take some time, like I'm doing now, to actually go back a second time and kind of do like a second pass. So the first time is really just kind of like quick, like what do I think it is at, like literally just using my eyeballs. And then next kind of schedule some time like I'm doing right now to kind of do a second pass with my microscope and some other tools and stuff like that. So yeah, it's very, there we go. There's a very stubborn piece of dirt there on the bottom of that Pokeball. But we're able to get it. So let's take a look. I still think it's going to be, I think the first assessment is still pretty accurate, but we're gonna take a look here. But still a nice little Rhyperior level X there, though. Still pretty nice. Barth, welcome in. Welcome in. So where am I? There we are. So yeah, I picked up a lot of these, honestly, from a local game store when I traded in some games. So sometimes that's the move, man. Sometimes it's just a little bit easier to kind of move some of that over from like games and getting some cards so I can just kind of see them in person, shop around a little bit, you know? It's pretty nice. And I'm just gonna, if I can take this out. If I can take this out, there we go. Nice little Darkrai there. Let's take a look. Went to a local card shop and it was a huge but tiny selection. Yeah, it's so weird sometimes, Betty. Like some shops will have like a really cool inventory and then some will just be like desolate. It's pretty crazy, to be honest. That's why it's like just super important to have like, I mean I talk about that often, right? Like you really need to have like a good sizable inventory, because if you don't, because like as a first time being in that store, right, like that's now your kind of first experience is now that store just doesn't have a lot, has loud dudes playing Magic. Yeah, that sounds about right, man. Trying to get these light levels good. There we go. All right, so let's take a look at this, what I've assessed when I first got this as light play. So let's take a look. But I definitely have some other fun surprises coming up in the pipeline here. I got a lot working on. 2025 I feel like is the year that I really want to try to do some more stuff for the community and have some cool plans coming up. But man, we should talk about, while I'm working on this, hopefully you guys are surviving the storm that is Prismatic Evolutions and Journey Together. Because man, those two sets right now are giving me like 2020, 2021 flashbacks, and not in a good way. And in my honest opinion, I'm probably not even going to touch those sets. From like a collecting perspective, I just really hope, like I said this not too long ago, but the one set that is modern that I am excited for as a collector is the new Team Rocket set. But man, dude, like if it just keeps getting crazy like this, like it's gonna be next to impossible to get anything. That's actually really cool. I don't know. It's so weird. Like the journey together is almost like adding back a lot of like the nostalgia stuff, like box toppers essentially for the box, or like bringing back like Team Rocket, bringing back like Gym Hero, Gym Challenge kind of vibe. It's really interesting that they're bringing back all these kind of like older like promotional items. I think is really interesting. I think it's super interesting. But yeah, I don't know. Hopefully they have them in like the big top, like the big ones too, like they used to do, like the big cards for the big box toppers. Yeah, Nikolai, I hear you. I hear you. It's gonna be cool, man. I don't know. Like I think what I'm gonna like, because it's so hard, right? It's so hard to really fight against that FOMO. But I don't know. I think the prices right now are absolutely ridiculous, and you really shouldn't fall victim to it. Like they're gonna be around. It's just like, you know, even like some of the pre-sales. I was looking at some of the like some videos that popped up from my page. Like some of the pre-sales for the Umbreon are like already breaking like 1,000, which is insane to me. It's just like the like it just shows like how powerful that feeling of FOMO really is. And there are some people that simply cannot ignore it. And it's just like, man, like, it's rough out here. It's rough out here for the collectors, man. But, nice little dark card right there. But, I don't know. Like I said in my last stream, I think I'm kind of like more or less putting some blame more on Pokemon at this point, because it's just ridiculous. But it's hard though. Like you shouldn't have to feel like regret because you couldn't. Yeah, exactly, B-Man. That's what we're talking about exactly. It's just weird. Like, you shouldn't have to feel, like, as a consumer, you shouldn't feel regret because you couldn't beat scalpers. Like, you couldn't beat the bots that were just auto-buying out all this product. And it's just sad, man. It's just sad, but just Pokemon just doesn't care. Like, they're just showing signs. Like, I just hope that they change. Like, I really hope that I'm wrong. Like, I really want them to print off stuff. But I was even reading some stuff about, like... The one thing that I don't really hear a lot of people talking about is I don't really hear people talking about, you know, what the success of Pokemon Pocket will actually translate to for physical cards. Take my chances with Walmart. Yeah, I mean, that's what you have to do, right? You just have to take your chances at these, like, big box stores. It's just crazy. But, like, in my opinion, it's just, like, Pokemon Pocket is so successful. Like, I think they made, there was, like, a report, like, last month or something like that. They made, I don't know if it was 200 or 400 million in sales. And, like, 48% of those sales was from Japan alone. And it's like, they don't even have to print those cards. You know what I mean? They don't even have to put in the resources to print them. They don't have to put in the resources to rent manufacturing space. Like, they literally just print digital cards. Like, they're like one of the first instances where like the idea or the concept of an NFT is actually doing well. I'm scared when they add trading because I think Pokemon Pocket will become more money based. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. Because there's the people who like collect it. Like, I know Betty does. I know Betty, I mean, the last time I talked with her, just simply collects the art just to collect them. But then there's people like me who like to, you know, I like to collect, but I really like to play PvP. And I don't know. But at the same time, like what Betty said, like, it is nice to not have to, like, it scratches that itch that I think a lot of people just simply want, which is just the fun of opening packs. And it's like, man, like, I don't find it fun to buy a pack that is now 3x in price because no one can buy it just for the sake of opening bulk. That's what I'm saying. I love collecting the cards. It's fun. And for me, it scratches that itch. Like, I get 2 free packs a day to open, right? I just have that kind of fun of doing it. I'll still get good hits every now and again from pulling some of those packs. And I don't have to fight a 70-year-old man that's, like, about to chop my head off for not, like, getting out of his way fast enough for buying out ETBs. Like, I don't have to, like, stay up until, like, 4 a.m. to wait for the Pokemon Center to drop their stuff to try in an attempt to beat out these stupid bots that buy out everything. Like, boy, like, that's really making me want to be a collector. But I don't know. I just hope that enough people, like, collectively will say that we're tired of it or we're not gonna accept it anymore. But I don't know. I say that and people still buy stuff, so. Let's see if there's really much we need to do with this Umbreon. I just hope that Team Rocket does that. I can get a Journey Together booster box. Oh, that's sick. Well, congrats, Betty. I tried getting an ETB on the Pokemon Center and it instantly, like, crashed the site. Nikolai, I've been seeing folks like on TikTok and whatever, like some of the Costco's that literally need, like, security guards now, just for the pre-release or the releases of these sets. Like, how crazy is that, dude? How crazy is it that we need to hire armed security for Pokemon cards? It's insane. But it's like again, that's why I really can't fault Pokemon for thinking this. It's like, if people are physically fighting for our product, like, people that sell things would love for that to happen, right? Like, that is, like, the ultimate, I have something good here, right? Oh, I know, B-Man. It's just that 2025 is going to be crazy. And I think Pokemon Pocket, I said this for Surging Spark, I think Pokemon Pocket is really bringing a lot of people back into the scene. And, it's no different than when Pokemon Go happened with, like, evolutions. Like, I strongly feel that the success of Pokemon Pocket has brought a lot of people back and just put a lot more eyeballs on the TCG from a collector's point of view. Because some of those cards in Pocket, man, are some of the best artwork I've ever seen. Like the animated ones, like the Pikachu, the Zard, the Celebi, the Mewtwo, like, those are super sick. And they were smart, right? Like, they were smart to start with the Gen 1 stuff as, like, the main hits of those sets. Because, like, us 30-something-year-olds, that's what we started with, right? And we have a little bit more disposable income than the, 18 to 20-year-olds, right? On average. So, of course, that's what they're going to start with. And that's what happened with Go, and that's what happened with Pocket, and very successful, and those sets just went crazy. But yeah, I'm super stoked for Team Rocket for sure. That's the set that I am actually going to try to buy as a collector for sure. I'm super stoked to see that set. Now let's lighten the mood here a little bit. Huh, chat? If you guys do play Pokemon Pocket, boy, do I have a fun surprise that's so close to being done. I've been working behind the scenes with some folks, and I have a really fun, creative, interactive, community content idea that I'm super stoked to share with you guys. That I haven't seen anyone else do, and I hope it works. But that's what we do here. We take chances here, over in Galaxia Gaming Land. I got some new merch coming out. Super excited to show that off soon. But yeah, what else is on your guys' mind in Pokemon space? We got the craziness of these sets coming out. We got the amazing 151 artwork of the Pikachu coming out over in China. Cleaning cards. What are some of the basic tools and techniques to start? You know what? Let's, Drew, just for you. Let's see. Surging Sparks going to rise? I mean, at this point, I feel like it is. But I think really the only card that's probably going to hold some weight is probably just for the sheer amount of hype around the Pikachu. It's probably going to be that. Maybe the Latias in the Milotic. But there's just so much hype going around Prismatic that it might, in my opinion, it might dip a little bit and then kind of slowly go back up, because right now I think there's so much hype around these sets. But once the Journey Together, Team Rocket, Prismatic actually drops, there might be some, maybe a slight dip, but who knows. So card cleaning. Here we go, Drew. You ready? So let's pick this Swampert EX. Right? So let's go over what I do when I clean cards. So the first thing I do, obviously, is I have a, you can't really see it here, but I have a microscope that I use to look at everything. That's what you're seeing on the top screen. I have distilled water. So I just have it, normally I have like a little glass of it, but I was too lazy to fill it up before stream. So it's just a little squirt bottle full of distilled water. I have these Q-tips, one that has a pointed end and one has a little bit of a rougher end. I have a microfiber cloth that I use just to kind of wipe some stuff off if I need to. And I wear gloves from time to time if I'm like handling cards, more so on stream, but. And then all I do with the microscope is I just kind of put it under and look for spots, and if I see any on the Swampert, because this one I have as near mint, so we'll see if that's actually true. And then I have a little bit of a foam on the bottom so I can kind of move the card around without obviously scratching it on the, because this surface is kind of metallic in texture. But Max, thanks so much for following the live. Appreciate you guys. I know, Betty. We do need a set. It's just crazy. Like, they're just loading these sets up with just some crazy hits, man. It's just crazy. Maybe that's it. Or just, like, not have a set that just solely has evolutions in it. Like, as all the chases. It's like they know what they're doing. It's just wild. So let's see. So we'll see if I can try to find something. Well, so we'll try to see if we... So pretty much people send cards in and you clean them for better quality. Yeah, more or less, Max. Right now I'm going through stuff that I'm going to be putting on my online store. So it's kind of cool to kind of show you guys like a little bit behind the scenes of what goes into a card before I actually either bring it to a show or put it on my online store. But I actually do have a the second cleaning submission coming in this weekend that I'm going to be showing on Monday. So that's super cool. So someone reached out to me to take advantage of the card cleaning service. So I'm going to be cleaning their cards next week, which I'm super stoked to show you guys. But yeah, for everything that you're seeing right now, this is all the cards that I picked up throughout the months of the last quarter of 2024. But on the back, Max, there's really not... I forgot someone else was asking me that same question. There's really not much you can do, especially if the whitening is pretty much removed completely from the card. Because if someone were to say yes, there is, they're more or less implying that they're going to fill in those those dings with like a marker or something. Which from what I do, I consider that as an alteration, and there's really not much I would be able to do because I avoid alterations altogether. But everything that I'm doing right now with just the water and the Q-tip is not considered an alteration. And the reason why, and I made a video about this before, is that I'm just addressing things that are simply on the card that I'm removing, like dirt or grime or thumbprints or anything like that. Because it's a silly thought experiment, right? If someone said to you, "Hey, I put a thumbprint on my card, and I can't remove it because it's considered alteration," like saying that out loud is silly, right? So I'm only addressing stuff that can actually be removed that was added onto a card. I don't add anything to a card like wax or anything like that, like a marker. Yes, Betty, that is also a good point. So just in case, if the ever pending doom of TikTok, I also am on YouTube as well, that I'm streaming on as well. So if you guys want to make sure that you don't forget about me, sniff sniff, the tears are flowing, definitely go check me out on YouTube as well. I'd greatly appreciate it. I like hanging out with you guys, and I don't want you guys to go away and disappear forever, because we're all going to be scattering around like little ants trying to figure out our new home. Do print lines matter in a grade? Saw an eBay listing as a PSA 10 and they mentioned with print lines. I would say that if that is the case, they got extremely lucky, trainer, for sure. Because in most cases, it does impact the overall surface score of the grade because there's literally a line going through it. Because it's implied, right, that card, there are instances of that same card that do not have print lines. I heard they extended the ban today by 207 days. Really? I'd have to see that, to be honest, because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of like clickbait stuff floating around. And honestly, this is actually a really good question or statement to make to you guys. From a cybersecurity perspective, definitely be careful on some of the articles that you click around the TikTok stuff, or like a lot of these apps that are now running rampant on TikTok telling you to like join their platform, like in lieu of the ban. Just be careful where you guys are putting your information, because there's going to be a lot of like predatory behavior that are going to try to take advantage of people not knowing where to go. So just be careful. Okay, so let's see. I have a card that has very, very minimal whitening on two edges of the card. Will it get a 10? It's a very long shot, but I would probably say no, Max. If this is your first time, though, Max, I do offer a free grade review stream every Wednesday. So if you go to my Discord, which is in my link in my bio and my link tree, if you submit your cards in the grade review channel, I'll be more than happy to review them for free during a live stream on Wednesday. It is first come, first serve, so there might be a little bit of a queue ahead of you. But for sure, if you put those in there, whenever I get to you, I'll be more than happy to give you my opinion about what I think it would get. Does PSA do something like this to make sure it's in good condition? They don't, Geo. That's why it's so important to do this before you send it out. Because if you leave like any of these like little dirt marks or blemishes or anything like that, like even like a thumbprint on the card, they will take that away from you in terms of the surface subgrade. So like this is a good example, and this is actually kind of two birds with one stone. For oh, what was your name? I'm like blanking. I'm so sorry, Drew. So for Drew, for example, so see for example this little speck right here by the white portion of the Pokeball. So if PSA sees this, they won't do anything about this. They won't get rid of this for you. So that's why for me it's so important to try to do techniques like this that I'm showing you. So all I'm doing right now is like I'm barely putting any pressure on this, and with just a little bit of distilled water on the tip of this Q-tip, that stain is now removed from the card because there was a bit of dirt stuck onto it. So had I not done that, that would have had an impact on the surface grade. So that's why I do that. Do you do card grading for newer sets? Yes, I do, Nikolai. As long as they're chases, for the most part. As long as it's not bulk, I'll do grade reviews for anything. For Pokemon specifically, I should say that specific. Does it matter when your card has a weirdly cut corner and is not perfectly curved edge? So they might dock that. To be quite honest with you, I haven't had, because all of what I talk about is purely from my own experiences with grading through PSA. I've been doing it since 2017. And to be quite honest with you, I have never submitted a card that does have like more of like a squared corner. But I would imagine that since the rest of them are not, they might not recognize that as a full-blown error, meaning that they wouldn't omit that from the corner subgrade. So that'd be kind of my opinion on that. How important is it for the corners to be perfectly rounded? It definitely helps for sure. I would say if they're not, then you have the risk of having that corner subgrade getting impacted. PSA or BGS for vintage Pokemon grading. If you're talking about from a return on investment or an ROI perspective, PSA is going to be the top contender. In addition to like all the controversy currently surrounding Beckett with their CEO going through those litigations currently. But I would say for black labels, you know, obviously Beckett and CGC are highly regarded for their like black labels. But so they have that kind of niche going for it. But I'd say on average, for if you want a high ROI, PSA is going to be the way to go. How do you package them for PSA after they're free of dust and debris? So normally what I'll do is, for these cards specifically, I don't plan on actually, like, unless I do see one that's worthy of getting graded, like this Swampert, for example. There are some scratches, like, on the holo, so normally I would send a card in, if I think for vintage, if it would be 8 or higher, and for modern, it's pretty much 10 or bust for me. And so I would say if I thought that this Swampert was grade worthy, what I would be doing is at the end I would take like a microfiber cloth like this just to kind of like just make sure that there's no dust or debris or anything like that kind of stuck to the card, and then I take a brand new sleeve every single time, not a one with a pull tab, just a penny sleeve, and just kind of just do that, and then just put it in a semi-rigid top loader, and that's pretty much it. I don't do anything fancy or anything like that. I just make sure to wipe off the hairs that are stuck onto the card. But okay, all the cards I pull that would be worth grading always has something wrong with it. Yeah, Ian, that's always the tough part, man. It's always like for modern, it's always corners or centering. I talk about that all the time during grade review. How important are the gloves? I would say, you know, if I'm handling, so for example, I have someone that has asked me to clean their cards that I'm actually going to be doing next week on Monday. So next Monday. And so they're not my card. Like, so when I handle their cards, they're not mine. So I want to make sure that I don't have any like oil or anything like that that could potentially go onto the card. I was talking about before, right, where we can remove dirt and grime, but we can also remove thumbprints. And sometimes that does happen. When you're handling a card, you can kind of get some thumbprints stuck onto the card specifically. So gloves just kind of help me not have that happen. But I will say that the biggest argument against gloves, which to be honest I think is probably the strongest one, is you lose the ability to sense how much pressure you're actually putting onto the card. So like I've done it enough to where I feel like I've gotten pretty good at it with the Q-tip, but before, if you don't have gloves, it's really kind of hard to gauge how hard you're pressing into the card. So oh, and Betty, if you're still here, let me know, because I can show you, because I think I brought it up before, but I'll show you all the slabs that I've collected that are going to be getting set free. So here's so we're looking at the Tyranitar V. We got cards literally everywhere. So these cards I actually got not too long ago. So all of these, so this is kind of like where I'm at, chat, is I really like to pick up cards that are as 7s to crack them and sell as near mint. Because in certain cases, the near mint version is actually, on paper, higher market than the PSA 7 counterpart. So these are the ones that I'm actually going to be freeing and releasing to sell as raw. So we got the Armored Mewtwo, the Charizard GX from Burning Shadows. We have the Cynthia from Ultra Prism. We have the Seadra Reverse Holo from Legendary Collection. And then finally, this is probably the first time I've ever seen this card when I first saw it in auction. But this Articuno EX, like the Shatter Foil from Fire Red Leaf Green. So super stoked to pick those up. So those will be, I won't be doing it on stream because I have to put it in like a bag and like crack them open, and the plastic bits literally go everywhere. But yeah, those will be set free here soon. I need that Cynthia. Well, I'm sure, Betty, that there are some tasks in the future that I might need your help on, so definitely keep that in mind. Because the more I start putting more cards on the website, the more instances I'll need help pricing out stuff. Should I grade modern Japanese? I guess it really just depends on like what cards specifically you're trying to grade, Steve. Like if they're like some modern chases and whatnot, they might be worth it. But you know, the best piece of advice that I could probably give is just look up you know, eBay's like last sold listings for that card. And more importantly, and that's why I really like to do the grade reviews every Wednesday, is the more you kind of get used to like how to properly assess a card's condition and kind of assign a potential PSA value to it, you can kind of better gauge on, you know, like if you think it's going to get like a PSA, like say you have a Japanese Lugia V from Silver Tempest that would get a PSA 8 that you assess as a PSA 8. That then allows you to look up how much those PSA 8s are going for to kind of give you a better idea on whether or not a card is actually worth grading or not. How do you get the dirt off or dust stains? So what you're seeing me do with the Q-tip, so all I do personally is I just dip the Q-tip in some distilled water, but make sure it's very, very dry. I would say from a percentage point of view, the moisture should be, you know, like 5% humidity. And so that's pretty much all I do. I just kind of see certain spots that may have some potential dirt or something stuck onto it, and very, very gently, and again, I cannot express enough how gentle I actually put the pressure onto these cards. I just kind of work at it and just apply slight more pressure if it's like more of a stubborn stain, until it either comes off. Now there is a point though, I will say, that if you know, you kind of have to like win or lose some battles, right? Meaning that if there is a piece of dirt that's just super stubborn and not getting off, you know, don't put more pressure into it, because you could ultimately do the reverse on what you want, which is to put like a dent in the card. So definitely practice on cards that you do not care about, for sure, because otherwise you could cause some pretty significant damages. So like this card, for example, this Tyranitar, I probably wouldn't get this graded just as an example, because in my opinion that left border is a little bit thicker than the right. So it'd probably be a tad off center, and you can kind of see that translate to the back, where this right side is thicker than the left side. So how often do I do lives like this? So I normally do this every Monday, because again, everything that you're seeing, I'm basically preparing to put on my online store. And so I'm trying to get a cadence of doing this every Monday. And so, again, if TikTok goes weird, just make sure, because I do stream on YouTube as well. So if you guys want to keep seeing me and whatever and don't want to lose where I am, definitely check that out. It's in my, the link is in my bio in my link tree. Out of curiosity, is price charting a reliable app to gauge prices? So that's a good question, Pokemart. I think, personally, I think sites like that are good if you are able to filter out kind of the false or misleading prices. And so sometimes, like, what is really tricky, and it's kind of a shady practice to do, to be honest, but no one really does anything about it, is like someone will list like a card, like let's say that you're looking for this Mega Gardevoir as a PSA 9 or something. In certain instances, if you're trying to look this up on price charting, what will happen is that people will have in their listings as like a CGC 9, but then they'll put in parentheses PSA 9, because they know that that language in their title will make more people see their listing because it has the phrase PSA in it. And so sometimes those listings get jumbled in as kind of false data into the overall market price of the card. So you'll kind of have to more or less omit those entries and not take the market price at face value. And it's really unfortunate, because TCG Player is starting to do that too, where they're allowing people to submit cards as like in graded form. So like if you're trying to look at a card that's like near mint and like you know, it's like $50 or something like that, and then all of a sudden it jumps to like $1,500. Well, if you look closer, it's not the card just jumped by that much. It just means that, oh, that card just had a sold listing for a graded version of that card, which as a result will skew the market price if you're not careful and if you don't do your due diligence to remove that from your calculation. So that was a very, very long-winded answer to your question, Polly. And I hope you had a chance to process everything that I was saying, because I kind of just talked without stopping. I'm trying to get better at that, but hopefully that helped you out. Hey, Drew, thanks so much for stopping by. I appreciate you hanging out. Yes, Prim. Man, these gifters, guys. Appreciate you. But I don't know how many are actually doing it, because there are a few people who said I didn't even to gift. Yeah, I've that's definitely like my my like streamer mode. I just kind of keep yapping and not just, because when people are just straight silent on stream, it kind of is like a little awkward. Feels like I'm like invading someone's privacy, or like invading their like private moment with themselves or something. I don't know. Do you think Cleffa Obsidian Flames illustration rare will keep rising? It's weird, right? It has been going up a little bit. It has been going up. So I don't know. I know it's a good card in like the TCG, like actually playing the TCG. So maybe that has something to do with it. Or, you know, since, I mean, technically it does look like a card that would be very difficult to grade, because I've kind of brought it up before, but it's almost like the Pokemon to holo ratio is so large, meaning the Cleffa is so small and the holo around it takes up so much space. So I don't know. Maybe that might be a part of it too. It's really hard to tell at the end of the day. It's so hard. The market is so volatile right now. It's so hard for me to like help you guys kind of pinpoint exactly where stuff is going. Let's see. How close does PSA look at a card? And how long do they look at each card on average? That's a good question, Lightspeed. I don't know, like for example, if I was like a PSA grader, I think what you're asking is like, you know, do I have to spend 30 seconds per card? I don't know the answer to that specifically, on like the length in which they have to assess each card. But I will say that the tools that I use, like this microscope and gloves, I would hope that they use gloves at least. And just like these tools to make it easier for them to see these imperfections, they'll definitely use them for sure. So that's why I like to kind of use the same tools. Like obviously, like I can't confirm that they use this specific microscope that I'm using, which is the Tom Love. But they, you know, they probably use tools that are very similar. So it's like, for me, since I do this as a profession, like as a side business rather, my kind of philosophy is like, why not match what they do? So then I can kind of get more accuracy on like, so if I thought that this card was going to get like a PSA 4 or something and it comes back as a 4, then I know, okay, my methodology, my equipment is helping me stay within like the accuracy of PSA, if that makes sense. So that's kind of why I like to do it, kind of stick with it. But I appreciate all the likes, by the way, guys. The likes, the shares, the follows. Really appreciate it. I know we're in some murky times already, but I appreciate you guys sticking it out with me. I just pulled that Cleffa like 2 days ago. There you go. So yeah, I don't think, for example, this Mega Gardevoir, I probably would not get graded. Again, I normally grade, like, for this stuff, probably get like a 7 or an 8. Probably more of like an 8 than a 7, but normally for stuff like this, I'd probably try to want more for like a 9 or a 10, but that's what's nice. Not everyone is a graded collector, so that's why I like to have some cards not... I don't need to grade every card. And that's kind of like a thing that I think a lot of people are currently, like, being lessons learned. Like, again, I picked up a lot of these 7s for... like they're pretty inexpensive, to be quite honest with you, because I think so many people submit this stuff thinking that they're going to get like 9s or 10s and they come back as 7s because there was something that didn't hit those near mint plus categories that people just simply don't know what to look for in certain situations. I won't say all, right, because there needs to be a degree of, you know, error, but I was considering getting a better camera to open packs. That'd be sick, Betty. I know, you gotta stream again, man. It's been a while. Actually, it's funny enough, I was kind of going through some people who I was still following on Twitch, and I saw one of the streams that you did when you opened up that God pack. I forgot what set it was from, but I just love how, like, when I saw that, you were so, like, nonchalant about it, as though, like, you do that, like, every day. Do card shops review their cards before selling it to decide if they want to grade? Oh, Trainer, you know, that is such a good question. And to be honest with you, I think it's, you know, man, my brain is, like, running, like, 500 miles a minute to answer your question, because I have so many thoughts about this. So the first thought I would say is that for a card store, you really need to remember, like, what clientele you're catering to when you open up a card store. And so I think if you grade everything, you're alienating probably one of your larger client bases, which is people who collect raw cards, is probably your biggest one first and foremost. So kind of the practice that I kind of approach things with is, if I don't think, like, for vintage, if I don't think that it would get anything higher than an 8 or higher, I'm not going to grade it, right? Because it allows me to still sell something at vintage for near mint, or lower, for those who simply want to collect those. And for modern, I don't send stuff in to get graded unless I think it would get the 10. Because, like, a 10 is, like, that's, like, the echelon, right? That's, like, people aren't looking for PSA 10 candidates to put into their binder, right? They're just looking for cards that are just in near mint condition that will look good in their binder to complete some collection goal, to look good in their binder for just simply collecting, whatever. They're not going to pay PSA 10 prices for a raw copy of a card, right? So I think that if I were to own a brick and mortar, that's what I would do. Is for vintage, if I think it'd probably get an 8 or higher, I'd probably grade it if it was worth the ROI. And then for modern, if I think it was going to get a 10, I would grade it. But other than that, I'm selling it near mint all day, or raw all day. But yeah, so I would say, though, for most card shops that, you know, are trying to, you know, I'm sure that some of them are trying to take them back to get graded. But at the same time, it's like, man, like, that's why I had to be very selective with some of the stuff I even put on my own online store, because it's a delicate balance, right? Like, if you have all this stuff on your store that just goes up to online all the time and never sees the light of day in your brick and mortar, people like yourself, Trainer, you're a great example of this, to where that game store that you're going to, you're just going to know that game store as being the shop that has no good clean cards, meaning, like, it's rare if you see anything in near mint condition. It's like, why would you ever go back? You know what I mean? Why would you ever go back to a store that just has stuff that's, like, moderately played or heavily played, and that's, like, everything that they have, you know? And it just doesn't make sense. And then, like, only to sell the stuff that's near mint online for what? To, like, alienate your customers and never have the potential of getting new inventory in, because all your customers just know you as having awful condition cards. Like, how does, from a business perspective, how does that make sense? Like, one of the main, it's like the little, like, recycling sign, like reduce, reuse, recycle. It's like, you need to have people come into your store to bring in their cards to trade towards your better cards so you can build your inventory. That's like the ecosystem of a local game store. Whereas if you just sell your good stuff online, you're severing probably one of your biggest, like, your biggest cycles out of that equation, which is building your inventory, because you're not having people bring in their trades to get better cards from you. That's why, like, I think it's really important to have a small handful of really good, high quality cards for people to trade towards, where it's like, man, like, I can't afford it if I paid in cash, but they offer trades, and where I can kind of make that price point go down much lower for it to be more affordable for me to purchase. So, like, this Squirtle, for example, I would, if this were mine, which it is mine, I don't know why I'm saying it that way. You know, I would not grade this, because I can see that right side is a bit thicker. So it doesn't do me any good to have this card come back as like a PSA 9, only to keep it in a slab. So I'm basically having people that want raw can't buy it because it's in a slab and they're probably afraid to crack it or whatever. But also alienate the people who, you know, only are looking for 10s for modern, which is currently the trend. So it's like, why even grade it? Another LCS we have here is selling ETBs this Friday for MSRP to the first 100 people that can show they are real collectors and fans. That'll be really interesting, Betty. You should, like, if you decide to go, or if you hear people's experiences going to that, I'd be very curious on how they go about determining who's a fan or not, which I think would be really interesting. Because I don't know really how... Oh, you got work, yeah. RR, thanks so much for liking the live. Appreciate you. We had the Squirtle, now we're looking at the Bulbasaur. Yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough being a collector these days. But I think you know, I think if people just kind of not like buy into the FOMO, it'd be a lot better. But what am I setting the cards on? It's like so everything that I use is in my link tree in my bio, but specifically what I'm using here, it's like toolbox liner. So, man, the Cynthia and the Bulbasaur. I am too, Wolf. I'm super stoked for Journey Together. Journey Together, the new Team Rocket set. Like, don't get me wrong, like, the sets are insane. Like, coming out. But it's like, man, dude, like, Pokemon's got to print, man. Print that into the ground. But that's why, like, I think I brought this up before, but I truly believe that they need to bring back first edition stamps. I think bringing back first edition stamps would be probably, because I haven't really thought of a counter argument on why they shouldn't, because the first edition stamp is really catering to the folks who are truly into like collecting like the niche and like the rarest of rarities, kind of. And then the unlimited stuff, you know, can be still there at a little bit like more affordable price point for, you know, for folks who just simply want the artwork that don't care about the first edition stamp. Yeah, Wolf. I'm super my set that I'm super stoked for is like I said, Team Rocket. But I don't know if they are UA. To be quite honest with you. I don't know if they're bringing back the first ed stamp. They really need to. At the end of the day, they really need to. Got some greens exploration. Let's take a look under the microscope. Just got some dandruff. We can fix that. Well, it appears to be dandruff. No? What is that? Unless it's part of her art style. Might be. Yeah, that is true. Like, if they can't even print to demand, like, you know, how are they going to do by actually printing first edition versus unlimited? Then you're going to get, like, the Butterfree D-stamp errors, like, all over the place. That is actually a good point. Like, if they can't even keep up with demand, how are they even going to keep up with doing essentially two different, like, two subsets within a set, right? The first edition. But then they're doing the Pokeball. So I think that's actually probably a good point. Them doing the Pokeball Master Ball is more... Oh, I almost, like, launched the green. It almost, like, flew off. I think the Pokeball Master Ball, I think, is a good step in the right direction, in my opinion. Because it, like, it finally adds value for us in the States or just in us English collectors, it gives kind of like that niche, right? That collection niche that people are wanting to collect Master Ball, like reverse hollows. And so it's kind of cool that, you know, the reverse hollows are actually like, you know, people are going to actively look for them. Am I able to send my cards to clean them? Yes, Jake. So my any cleaning information you can find in my link tree. If you go to cleaning services. So for sure. It's not free though. I will just for transparency. This isn't like a free service. Any pre-grading tips? Pretty much everything that you're seeing right now, Will, to be quite honest with you. I would just like, you know, obviously I don't expect people to like buy the the microscope or do whatever, but all you really need to do is just assume that PSA is not going to remove anything off of your card for you. And that includes like bits of dust, bits of hair that might get stuck on there accidentally, especially with so many cards now being textured. It's so much easier for stuff to kind of get stuck between those textured lines. So just like even as something as very simple as using like a microfiber cloth that you'd use to like clean your glasses, like this for example, just kind of taking some passes on the front and the back very easily. But that's pretty much it. But yeah, Jake, if you have any issues at least finding it, let me know. But it just should be right on my site, on galaxiagamingtcg.com, and then in support, under support, it's card or cleaning service or card cleaning or one of the two. 831 Alex, thanks so much for the follow. I appreciate that, Will. Thank you. And then once I'm done with this, I'll go through everything that I've cleaned, and then I'll show you guys. So basically, the process here. So you guys are kind of seeing a kind of like a cool behind the scenes. So pretty much everything that I clean here, I will then scan on my scanner and then put onto my store. And so subs over on my Discord will kind of see what's up for grabs first, but then after they have their chance to kind of pick up anything, I then put it on my website. And then today, for a week, I have a 5% off code in my link tree. So anything that you're about to see here after I clean this green, you have an additional 5% off. Because that's the based on popular demand. There's a lot of folks who wanted me to start selling stuff online, and I was very reluctant to doing it at first, but just like doing these card cleaning streams, I have to listen to the people. So 831. So I have one end that is dry, but then one end that is like extremely it's mildly moist, I guess is the best way I could put it. Like barely any moisture on the card at all. I would say like if you were to kind of gauge it from like 100% being like it's literally sopping wet to, you know, 0, which is it's bone dry, it's probably like around 5%. But I do have one end that is dry, just in case if I need it to be. So I use distilled water, not just like normal like tap water or anything like that, because I don't want to have sediment in the tap water to potentially give any issues to the card itself. So that is why I just use distilled water. And distilled water, honestly, is really not that hard to come by. You pretty much go to any drugstore will have it, because they're used for like CPAP machines and stuff like that. So hopefully this will come up. But this is exactly what I'm kind of talking about with the... So I just updated this store. So this is everything that you're about to see. So like with the scan, so what will happen is now that I'll clean these cards, what will happen is I'll scan them. And they're basically there for you guys to, you know, like look at the card like in huge detail. Because I know a lot of collectors, you know, want to see... That's like one of the big issues, right, with like eBay or TCG Player, like TCG Player specifically, because they don't force you to take pictures of your cards. But these are nice because you can kind of like really zoom in and really look at, like, based on what type of collector you are. you know, really look at exactly what may or may not be wrong with the card. So that's what's kind of nice about that. And so all that is available. We got some really cool stuff in. I just finished all of this last night. It was kind of a pain, but we got it. So those cards that you just saw on my website were actually these. So all of these are what's currently listed. So what's kind of nice is that if people are interested, I can use the microscope. I can kind of show you guys a little bit more in detail because no one else is really going to be doing that. You know, no sticky notes, no claim bags. If you want something you see, you can just go to the store and just pick it up. It's pretty much as easy as that. So, but yeah. Yeah, these ones have been pretty nice. A lot of these have been actually right from my case when I go to my shows. So everything that I upload to my site specifically is everything that I take to my shows. So I thought that was a kind of a cool addition as well. But I bet you could, Will. You know, at the end of the day, like, as long as you kind of continue to, I guess, follow the brand and follow the community, you know, you'll definitely pick up a lot of stuff. Like I said, I don't know if you just got in here, but we do a free grade review every Wednesday. So what I do is people will submit their cards into the Discord, and then every Wednesday I'll review them with the community to give what I think your cards would get as a PSA grade. And we go through a lot of different cards, a lot of different conditions. I think we've assessed every card under the sun, from a card that we think is going to get a PSA 10, like without a doubt, all the way to, you know, PSA 1s. But besides YouTube, any plans if TikTok goes under? So I would say, you know, just trying to get people to the Discord so people can kind of stay in touch. Instagram is probably going to be where I kind of start now. I mean, I've already been diversifying. I've been doing it for over a year anyway. So I'm not like super worried about it. Because at the end of the day, people's attention has to go somewhere. And I just, you know, yeah. Just kind of go somewhere else, you know, kind of make the best of the situation. And yeah. That's pretty much it. What sleeves do you get the cards? I try to get into selling. So for what I like to do is if there's a card, like say for this like Reshiram Zekrom, I don't know how much I have it priced at, but so like, for example, let's take a look here. So right here, right, this Reshiram Zekrom. So I have this at around 132. So when I have this in person, what I like to do is I like to have them with those pull tabs, because what people are going to want to do, right, like when they see this Reshiram and Zekrom, the first thing that they're going to want to do is take a look in condition. So I have these I think they're just called pull tab sleeves, like pull tab penny sleeves or something like that. A bunch of people make them, where they're going to pull this out and look at the card, versus, you know, for a card at this price point, instead of opening up the top loader and trying to dig their fingers in to pull it out, which could potentially damage the card on the top, they're going to pull it out anyway, so might as well get a pull tab sleeve. And so that's what I do. And then I also have an inventory code on the back as well. So I think it's really big if you're like trying to take your business seriously. I think it's really important to have all your stuff inventoried in some way that makes sense to you, because otherwise your stuff's all over the place and you can't really document it well and all sorts of stuff. So that's what I recommend. So in that way, like for example, these two Erica's Venusaurs, right? I know exactly how much I paid for one of these, right? So and the condition that they're in, right? So this one is heavy play and this one's mod play. So I'll always know which one's which. Any Pikas? I don't think so. Not at the moment, no. But so far we've had... So this is some recent stuff that's going to be going up here. Or that's already on the store now. And then we just finished cleaning and preparing some stuff that will be on the store at some point in the future. So we just got done cleaning these. So there's not, I don't think there's any Pikas in this one, but we do have some more modern chases, the Tyranitar, Swampert, and some Diamond Pearl stuff, Darkrai, Rhyperior, another Espeon VMAX, and then the Bubble Mew, which has also been kind of going. It seems like anything that has a nickname has been crazy. Juan, thanks so much for following. Appreciate that. I just sent my 151 Flying Zard and a PSA. Well, fingers crossed, my man. Do I clean people's cards? I do, Michael. I do. Everything can be found on my website. If you go to galaxygamingtcg.com, and in the support section, there should be card cleaning. How to remove stains that look like coffee? I would say pray and use distilled water and a Q-tip. But I would definitely, if you're not used to doing that, I would definitely practice on cards that you don't care about, just in case if you mess up. Does it make a big difference when setting into grade? I think it does. I know I've done, you know, streams before. If you check out some of my videos I just posted, there is a Dark Charizard, a Holo First Ed Dark Charizard that I got done cleaning. And we were able to get rid of this very stubborn stain on the top right-hand corner. And after we got rid of it, it came back as a PSA 9, that's what we assessed it during the cleaning. Because had I not removed that, it would have probably gotten like an 8 or a 7, because it would have had a negative impact on the surface grade. Michael, thanks so much for following. I appreciate that. So yes, in short, I do believe that it does. And that's not me just thinking that. It's more of just from my personal experience. So awesome. Yeah, definitely check out that that support section of the site. Just know that it isn't a free service. I've had a few people in the past think that it is, because what I'm doing right now, this is my stuff that I just prepare to get put onto the online store. Where am I located? I'm located in New York. So most people ship them to my business address, and then from there we just kind of go from there. Could using too much distilled water warp a card? It can, Pookie, for sure. That's why I would say it's probably about 5%. Like 5% humidity of the Q-tip. But if you don't really know or can't tell, definitely practice on like energy cards or bulk cards that you don't care about if they get ruined. Are there tools out there to help self-grading to determine what to send and what not to send? I mean, they're getting better, Wolf, but the piece that's lacking that I feel like I've been helping to fill the void is you still need, at the end of the day, someone to kind of give their additional opinion based off of their experience, because there are so many different cards and so many different things to look for. Like, for example, this Misty's Favor that I have. I don't think that this card would get a 10 just from looking at the front of this, because I know from my personal experience that the centering from the right to the left is off center. And so that's why, like, on Wednesdays when I do grade reviews for folks, that's kind of the knowledge that I like to give to the community, is like what to look for specifically when they're trying to set up their, or determine whether or not a card is worth getting graded. And that is completely for free, because I like to just to give back to the community in that sense. What's my favorite card? I would say my favorite card ever was probably the original Birthday Pikachu, because I think as a kid I couldn't afford to A, build a deck that was competitively viable, and B, go to a Toys R Us that had Pokemon League competitions. And so I know that was a prize that I thought was super cool that you could like write your birthday on, which was super dope. But I loved growing up the Birthday Pikachu. Birthday Pikachu is overrated. Dang. You're done. Overrated. We found the Charizard enjoyer. But because that was cool too, because like it was funny because there was some kids that I knew growing up in elementary school that did go to those tournaments, and they thought that you had to actually write your name on the card. So many of them that I saw always had their name written in, like the spot where you're supposed to, like, quote unquote put your name. Bugsy Scizor, that's good. That's a good one too, to be honest. Yeah, I'm super stoked for them bringing back the journey together and like the trainers and stuff. Super, super excited. Yeah, the sun, what do they keep calling this, like the Sun Zard now? It seems like at the moment a card gets a nickname, it starts going up in price. Like the Bubble Mew, the Moonbreon. It's just insane. It is absolutely insane. But anyway. So I think that is going to be it for me tonight, guys. So again, I'm going to be streaming on Wednesday as well for doing episode 50 of Grade Review, where I review community members' cards for free and give my assessment of what I think they'll get as a PSA grade. So if you want to check that out, definitely give me a follow to get notified when I go live on Wednesday. But I appreciate all the likes, shares, and all that fun stuff over where you're watching me on YouTube or TikTok. And hope to see you guys around. Again, if you want to stick around, definitely check out the Discord or the YouTube, because I don't know how long we have for TikTok. So definitely check those out. I feel like I have to start saying that, which is sad, but no one knows what's going to happen. Tony, thanks for liking the live and following the live. Appreciate you, brother. And yeah, I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Peace.